Ryan Mudd, and this is my cheat sheet for Thursday, January the 12th. Alright, so some numbers when it comes to foreclosure information and even home sales and everything else really aren't worth a whole lot in terms of what's actionable and what you can do with it. Some numbers really are. The foreclosure filing number, or the beginning of the foreclosure process, is the single most meaningful number when you're taking a look at distressed properties. The reason is, unlike foreclosures that are in the pipeline that on average take a year and a half to 2 years before they actually wash out the other end and banks relist properties, the actual foreclosure filing notices themselves are the indicator that we're going to either see improvement in foreclosure activity in the future, or it's going to get worse. Because if somebody receives a filing, 9 times out of 10 plus, that will be a future foreclosure a year and a half to 2 years down the road. That's why we knew way ahead of time it's going to take years for us to wash through this housing crisis because of the rush of foreclosure filings years ago. So here is a bit of better news for you. Foreclosure filings, when you take a look at all of 2011, we're actually at 4-year lows. 4-year lows. That's significant. When you start thinking about the record low mortgage rates we currently see, you see that with FHA, some people are able to obtain mortgages as low as 620 credit score and with 3.5% down. There's a extremely compelling story here, and I talked last week about how it's pretty clear now that in many areas around the country, a housing bottom was actually reached during the course of 2011. Everything is painting a very strong picture. If you're going to be remaining in the same place for 3 years or longer, I absolutely think that if you can be buying, you should be buying, because the era of record affordability is here right now, and the foreclosure wave is beginning to subside a little bit. Don't get me wrong, it's still going to take years before we're back to what we would have considered a normal market previously, but we have definitely turned the corner. And this latest information about less foreclosure activity, the lowest number in 4 years last year, is significant. Hit on a couple things real quick. Intel inside, right? Pentium processor, Intel became a household name in the early 90s, as they have been in PCs the #1 chip maker for the past 20 years. A lot of people have been wondering where they were with tablets and smartphones. Well, now they're going to be in tablets and smartphones. Intel struck a deal with Motorola on future generations of tablets and smartphones. So Intel getting ready to make a big splash in powering the products that are becoming more popular in all of our hands. Speaking of those devices, Verizon. Just how many devices do you think you actually could deal with? Verizon's thinking it's 5 per subscriber. I think a couple of these haven't even been invented yet, but their goal, they say, their long-term goal is that for every subscriber they have, to get 5 different devices on that single subscription. You can start doing the math about some of this. Let's say, for example, you have a computer and you have a smartphone and a tablet. You still have to have a couple more. I mean, maybe you have a family and get people on that way. But Verizon envisions a world in which we're connected wirelessly with everything. Don't forget your TV. That's coming too. That can be your 4th device. You can think up a new idea for the 5th. And speaking of which, smart everything. The Consumer Electronics Show is showing that everything, including your fridge to the scale that you weigh yourself on, are going to become smart products. Get this. What if your scale weighed you, told you how many calories you needed to consume to lose the desired amount of weight, and then uploaded that information to your fridge so that when you pull stuff out of the fridge, you know when you've hit your calorie limit? That kind of stuff's being worked on right now, and it's on display at the Consumer Electronics Show. That's the cheat sheet for today. See you tomorrow.